But y'all lost as hell. God ain't nothing, no thing. So if you want to find God, be like nothing, and you'll get a little closer to God. As soon as you start giving it a name, a deity, an energy, an electromagnetic concept or something like that, that's Lucifer. That's Zeus. That's some Egypt shit. That's all the first lost slaves got into, first voodoo shit. God ain't got nothing to do with none of that. You need to be the vessel for God. So bring something in this world that's nothing like nobody else. Keyword, nothing like nobody else. So since you got similar body forms like everybody else, that lets you know as a spirit, you fail like everybody else. So try to show everybody else how to not fall again. So you got to be like nothing and nobody. And you can't be given that no name and title. We can only see it through you. So you're bringing this world into new possibilities and shit like that. The moment you want to argue with me or argue with someone else, or you arguing with motherfuckers, or you allowing people to argue with you and you giving it names and titles and shit like that, bitch, that's a bias. And whatever God that is taught you how to do that shit. And that ain't got nothing to do with existence or all possibilities God. Nothing. To the point that you don't even know how to argue for God for nothing without feeling like an atheist, because you don't got the right concepts. You lost in words. An atheist or a religious person can't fuck with me. I'm really with God. I'm really with all possibilities. To a religious person, I'm the most extreme atheist in the world. To an atheist person, I'm the most religious person in the world. They both can't debunk me. I stand corrected. How you do that? How you do God's version of contradiction? And it makes sense, because it ain't no contradiction when something makes sense, because you understand what it is, you understand what you're here for, and you understand how you fail, so you understand how to convey that to others. So any other spirit in a mind and body who don't understand that, you're going to be superior no matter what intellectual property they're into, no matter what information they're into. You know what I'm saying? Because any information come from another spirit that had been in a position to come to that conclusion. Once you with all possibilities and spirits, you from that space where a person have to come to a conclusion to point to something, to make a language first, not you having to learn the language to know what it's about, to know what it even means to make one, then get into it. Then you understand what all languages point to. Even through the alphabet, the 27 letters or whatever like that, the first set means spring, the middle set means summer, the half set that's opposite means fall, and the last set means, goddamn it, motherfucker, winter. And if you look at the letters and piece them out, you will see how they putting a spell together, putting different energies from different areas, as above so below, and putting them in context as a word. So every time you say these words, you get scattered brain if you don't understand the energies that each letter is coming from. But when you decipher the word, you can see it clearly, and you'd be like, oh. And then once you really start to understand that, you got control of this shit. Now you got control of the shit. You got control of the words. It's like a spaceship now. And you can fly all through the motherfucking universe and a galaxy and reality and shit like that, and see things and shit like that. And shout out to Brother Polite. I heard Brother Polite say some shit like words is a GPS to reality. Yeah, that sounds like some shit I say. Real shit. Shout out to Brother Polite. He must got some fire in his chart or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, because I think that's how fire signs to see things, period. Because fire signs is opposite to the air sign. So y'all deal with words, and fire signs burn through reality. So when it get to earth energies, we know how to melt it and tell others what happened in the future. Where earth sign might just be rooted on the shape of it at the moment and might not see the outcome in the future, and sometimes they make a mistake. What does that mean in the third dimension? A person who got a lot of earth sign, right? Let's say they're next to a fire sign and we're both in music, or we're both doing something creative, right? Something could be working. The earth sign might constantly do something, but it could be something we're doing foolish. But since we're making money and it look like it's working at the moment, earth sign might not even care to see the outcomes of something until we actually experience that. The fire sign might switch up something ahead of time and make other people think that you're doing things too fast. But the fire sign to see that if we keep doing this too long, it'll look redundant. So if we switch something up, we'll be able to have that and that in some way, shape, or form. So ain't no right or wrong with either of these scenarios, but I'm helping you understand the context of how fire interacts with other elements and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? And how things could be positive or negative due to the fact of what spirit is using each chakra to make the outcomes and events and shit. So when we get into the opposite energy of fire and correlating with air and things of that nature, y'all deal with the air, the wind, the words, the things that structure the earth, because it's fire, water, air, then earth. So air, structure, and things of that nature. So a fire sign have to burn through water to get to the air before the earth is even shaped. So a fire sign have to feel a certain way. You just can't talk to a fire sign in any kind of way. And it just makes sense. Got to feel you first. If I can't connect to you, I can't really do no business with you either, whether if it makes sense or not. Fuck you. I'd rather do something that don't make sense if it make me feel better and prove to you wrong. You see what I'm saying? That's how fire signs is. So when we think about the air, we burn through reality with the air. We see through the air, because all fire is how you get through to God. To get to God is get to man. And the first masculine is fire. And man means masculine, the masculine energy of the mind. Thank you so much for the donation, Nina Serralo. So fire means separate. When you're caught in too many things, it becomes earth. You then had an image, fire, got lost in it, it condensed into water, thought about it too much, logically, air, justified it, and then it settled into your bullshit, and now you can't change your mind. A person who's stuck in their ways, earth energy, right? So sometimes you got to melt that, use fire again to get back to God. Burn that shit you got stuck in and stable in, because it ain't consistency, it's stubbornness now in that position. Now, for the most part, let that transition into dust again, air, right? So logically think about that and let it go. Don't try to reformulate it so it can be stuck as a brick again and you be heavy inside of it as a spirit. Let it transition back into the fluid and water so you can be more fluid and more light, so you're not heavy anymore and you're more connective and intuitive and more open and heart chakra open water. And now as a fire, now you can attach to the fire. You separate it. Fire means separation, it burns. So in the spiritual world, that's the transition you go through to accumulate the word separation of the attribute that fire has when we talk about it from a speculative spiritual perspective, right? We have to break it down within context because we don't got a word for it. Well, in the Shemitic language, there's a word for it in Hebrew or how to Jews, but I just have to break it down to y'all in simple terms because y'all fucking Western retards. Shout out to the subconscious community soul group though, y'all ain't. But for everybody who's conveying this information for the first time, that's not soul group, that's wanting to hate, but they don't got the true knowledge of the world. Right. And in that case, once you utilize fire to separate from circumstances, you become more light spiritually, light in weight. And that's the actual how you manifest light or image or vision or an awareness in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension that we're calling that kind of light and things of that nature. But it's becoming lighter as an action that you're doing, but you actually create a light in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension because you're crashing waters together. Masculine, lighter density of your water, feminine, heavier densities of your water to emit a vision, the lighter circumstance of those transitions. And that's what you're doing. That's how we're creating chakras and things of that nature. That's why you have the second comings and they're explained as suns or second comings or your messiahs or your visualizations or your spaceships or your wills, you know what I'm saying, or your wills with many eyes on them, instead, or your organs that got manifested, or your God blood, Jesus fleshly bloods, things of that nature. It's metaphysical knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's how you stand corrected. So any theologian, any atheist, anything they go into the Bible, even in shit that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about, they're able to be like, oh, damn. And Uriel pop back in their mind because I brought more clarity to another scripture that they were just passing because they couldn't make sense of it. So that was the boring part of the Bible. No, every part of the Bible is something important, bitch. All the way down to the fucking introduction. Y'all just